Hey, good morning, everybody. It's welcome to the Saturday morning tech show on ITHive.org. So today we're going to talk a little bit, continue discussing the situation, London Drugs, one of my customers, and I can't say that I got anything more news up to date, but anyway, we'll continue that story and also put it to bed. Because there's only so far you have to take things. The other thing too is I'm noticing a trend here with Windows machines, the Windows 10 machines, I think in particular. And I just wanted to mention that I don't know at this point in time what's going on. It's only a hunch, and I have to do some more research. But we'll talk about that. And then, of course, like always, if you have any questions or comments or anything like that, just add it in the conversation here and ask, and we'll address those too. So, as you guys know, for the last 4 weeks now, just recap a little bit. I had a senior customer that needed, she was out west, and she needed some hands-on work done on her machine, something I couldn't do remotely. So in those cases, I usually guide the customer to another source of help that they're comfortable with. And in this case, this client had purchased her machine from London Drugs in Lethbridge. And so I thought, and always when I used to live out there, the service there was really good. So I thought, well, okay, you know what? Take your machine there, give them my phone number, have them call me, and I will make sure that they do just what they need to do to get the system stable for you. So, now she did that. She did everything I'd asked, but London Drugs failed her greatly. They never called me. They told me that they felt they didn't have to call me, and in return, because they didn't call me, they charged my client. I would figure at least $100, $130 more than she should have paid, and she ended up with software she didn't need. Had they called me, none of this would have happened. So very disappointed there. And I've reached out to London Drugs. I sent them an email explaining the situation, all that stuff. No response from higher up. I talked to the head of their tech department, and he was just full of excuses and justifications because they don't really care. They don't care that this customer got ripped off and they won't come back, right? Because they're not in the business. They're only in the business for making a little bit of money here, and then that's it, right? So, hold on a second. Hey, Dad, I'm just live.
Okay.
So, hey, that's my dad.
I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I'll talk to you later, okay? So doing live shows, right? you have to do so. So anyway, where was I with that? So we couldn't fix it. London Drugs wasn't willing to correct the error, which is unfortunate. Businesses sometimes make mistakes, and I think what's important is what happens after, right? And if anybody in the tech industry understands one thing about customer service is that there are tech companies and techs that take advantage of customers that don't know any better, and our senior citizens are at great risk for that. So I'm pretty sensitive about that, and when another company does these kinds of things, it tarnishes the reputation for everybody else, right? So for closure on this subject, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give that client $100 credit on her account. I know she's on a fixed income, and it's sensitive for her, so I will just give her that. I can't fix what London Drugs did. The only thing I can do is maybe adjust what I do, and from this point on, when I direct a customer to another source of help, I will advise them, do not pay for anything, do not agree to anything unless they call me, okay? Because I'm your representative with them, and if I okay it and I okay the cost with you, then we can go ahead with the job. That's just the way it's going to be done. I wasn't that forceful in my instructions this time, so I can only look at what I could make better, and because of that, I'll give her $100 credit, and that will fix the financial issue of it, right? It doesn't take away the stress or the anxiety caused around Christmas. Even just before Christmas, this happened, so it's very disappointing, very, very disappointing that a company would do this. Anyway, so moving on from that, so that closes the story there. I am noticing something with Windows 10, and it's just something that has been, I noticed it once with one machine, and now I've got two others, and one of my machines is doing something as well. So here's the scenario, and it's kind of strange, right? And like I said, I have to do some more research on this, so maybe we'll follow up next week when I know a little bit more. So let's try and explain this without getting too technical. But so on your computer, right, your hard drive, all the files and everything are stored on there. Well, sometimes the system that organizes, it's like a big library, let's say. So there's an index that points to everything that's on your computer, and it's all organized like that. It's a little more technical than that when I'm explaining, but anyway, you get the idea. So the computer knows how to find stuff, right? Easy peasy. Okay. There are situations sometimes, however, where that process can get corrupted or confused, and so here's what I'm seeing. So despite the, so for all my clients, I actually monitor and look for events that point to situations that there is corruption going on, okay? And I'm not picking up any problems, which means that Windows isn't understanding that there's any problems. But yet when I'm looking at the machine, it's acting funny or acting slow, or programs, you fix a problem and then it breaks again, stuff like that. So these are the kind of telltale signs to this issue. And what I'm finding is that if I run a utility to check, to fix errors and fix situations on a computer, I'm finding when I do this, right, it's coming up with problems and then fixing them, but yet Windows 10 has no idea that there's an issue, which is disturbing to me, because it would seem that the problems are happening down at a low level and the operating system is unaware, which can lead to all sorts of problems. So so I'm not sure. I think what I'm going to do when I run into these machines that are acting kind of strange, a first step would be to maybe do a repair. Now, here's something else coupled with this, right? So my own personal machine, the one we use for our family and stuff, it wasn't exhibiting any problem or anything. But as I talked about in previous episodes, I renewed my business relationship with a company called Datto, which does imaging of computers and then makes that image available in the cloud in the ultimate disaster. So in the industry called business disaster recovery, or BDR, for those who like acronyms. So it's a good system. I like it. Not cheap, but for the right need, it makes sense. So like I do with everything for my clients, I don't roll out anything to my clients unless I'm using it myself, right? Or at least I've vetted it, but ideally I'm using it myself. So that is true with this in case as well. So part of the setup of that process, of course, is there's things that you need to do to prepare the machine. So even though the computer that I'm going to back up with Datto wasn't exhibiting any issues or any problems. I thought, well, okay, one of the things they want me to do is check the health of the drive. And so I did that. I ran a check disk /S/R for those who understand the technical nuances there. And I did that in DOS, right? Oddly enough, if you check the health of the drive through Windows, of course, it says everything's fine, but sensing in my mind that there was something else going on there, I did it in DOS, right? And it said, okay, we'll check it, in the next restart, the standard process. So I did that, and it went to 11% and stuck there. And I thought, that's very strange for a system that doesn't have any problems. Why would it stick there for so long? And I did some research on that, and I found out that this can happen, where it's sitting on 11%, but it's still actually doing work. You don't see it. So I thought, okay, well, let's do this overnight, which I did last night. Got up this morning. It's still at 11%, and I just checked it before the show. Still at 11%. So I'm a little concerned. I don't want to stop it, because what if it is doing something and then, I lose everything? And that would be the biggest irony, implementing the Datto backup and imaging device on this machine to protect it so I don't lose anything. And it would be really bad to lose the operating system before I get this in place. So I've left it now. Still chugging away at 11%. It must have been running now for about 7 hours. But apparently, in the research I have done on this, that sometimes this could be. The concern for me, and it's something that I always tell my customers when we run this check disk on their drive, I tell them, it could take a long time. And typically, the longer it takes, the more issues there were. So this leaves me a little bit of a concern with the computer, that maybe there's something going on that, once again, because I monitor events that would point out issues with the drive, Windows 10 is unaware of, right? So we need to do a little bit more research on that. But if this is an undocumented problem to this point, it could end up being quite serious, and end up causing a lot of people to have issues, because they're going to have problems. They wouldn't know how to fix it, right? And I think some techs are even going to be challenged to initially see the problem in the first place, because you trust that the operating system is aware of everything that's going on, but in this case, it would not seem to be. So, yeah, more work there. Now, this kind of leads into a third thing that I had forgotten to introduce in the beginning, but, I was chatting with some friends the other day, and I hear this a lot, and it kind of chimed with me again. There are so many people that they have an issue with their computer, and the worst scenario of this is that they have a software issue with their computer, right? So the programs that are running, there's something not right or whatever. And instead of getting expert advice for whatever reason, we'll just, throw this computer in the dump, right? Great for the environment. I'm being sarcastic. And we'll just buy another one. Oh, great for the economy. Also being sarcastic. Totally the wrong way to go, right? The computers, if anybody's out there thinking that they buy a computer and 2 years it's going to be obsolete and they can buy another one, right? Well, this is a mindset that existed in the 1990s and was quite true, okay? It's time for us to join 2018, right, where this is not the reality, okay? Even cheaper computers, which I never recommend to my customers, right, because it just doesn't make sense, can last, 3-4 years, right? But if you make a good investment in your technology, right, you're going to have that for 5, 6, 7 years, 8 years. I have some clients that I helped them buy machines, and they're like 7, 8 years old, and they still run fantastic, no issue whatsoever. And then on top of that, we're looking after these systems for them. So when something happens, when it breaks or when there's going on or so, we're in a position to, because we have history with this machine, fix it and get it repaired right, or make recommendations on how to get it fixed, right? We don't even care if we're the ones making the money from repairing the system, right? We're here as advisors and help people and direct them to the right sources to get things resolved, right? So that's why I throw it away, right? I think that's just such a crazy situation. So I think that's all I've got for today. So to recap, we'll give my client credit for the misfortunes with London Drugs. Hard drive health for Windows 10 machines is in question, and if it's broken, don't throw it away. Get some expert advice, because you're probably just wasting money and a lot of your time, and likely some frustration as well. So that's all I've got. Oh, and you know what? Happy New Year. Sorry, I didn't realize. Is this the first one this year? What's the date today? It is. So yeah, so Happy New Year. So anyway, I'm signing out, and we'll talk to you all next Saturday. Again, if you have questions or so, you can post them after the fact. If you're watching this video not live, just post a message. I'll get pinged about it, and I'll send you an answer. All right. So have a good week, everyone. A good weekend. And by the way, stay warm. It's like minus 40 with the wind chill right now outside. I've already been outside today. It is breathtaking, literally. The cold is extreme. So stay warm. And minus 40, for our American friends, is minus 40. It's all the same Celsius or Fahrenheit when you get down that cold. It's cold. All right. See you later.